Hello and welcome to Hot Money on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is the show which gives you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our guest on the show. Joining us today are technical analyst and mentor N.S. Vidai, Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice, and Nilesh Jain of Anand Rathi. He's a little delayed, but he'll be here in a while. But before we start with the show, with our analyst, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on ITC. Good morning, Yash. What does the chart indicate?
Good morning, Darshan. So there's a long call coming in on ITC, and this is a study that I've done basically on the chart. And if you could see, this is the weekly time frame over the last 3-year period, and the RSI in the lower panel, that is at the mark of close to 40. So every time that the RSI has come to the mark of 40, it takes support at that level and rebounds from those levels. And I've highlighted the same on the price chart as well. So taking a look back at the December of 2016, it came down to the RSI was as low as about 40, and then it was there in that price mark for some time, and then it managed to go up by almost 31%. Similarly, in the month of September of 2017, again the RSI had reached the level of 40. It took support over there, and then it bounced up. It went to the levels of almost close to 278 from the mark of 260. So about 13% move there. And again in the March of 2017 to 2018, it went from the level when the RSI hit the mark of 40. Again, it went up from the levels of close to 260 to as high as 278. So another 14% move. And again, what we are seeing on the charts after a very long time is that the RSI is again at the mark of 40, and it has taken support from there and has moved higher. So this is where the circle stands at, and the RSI at the same time close to 40. And we could see the stock to move higher from here on based on what we've seen historically.
So average return is anywhere between 15% to 30%. Is that what I'm seeing right now?
Yeah, so the 3 instances over the weekly time frame in the last 3-year period, every time the RSI has come to 40 and the stock has bounced, the gains have been anywhere between 15 to 30%.
Okay, that's 277. Thanks so much for that, Yash. NS, what's your sense? ITC, it's a very range-bound stock. It oscillates between this range. What Yash probably points out, it's at the lower end of the range. Is it a good bet for someone to take a position here?
Yeah, one can take a bet here and keep a tight stop loss below 270 probably, or means 272. And I wouldn't be very comfortable if it starts trading below 260. But if it gives a breakout about 282, there could be more momentum and it can jump up maybe to 290 and even 298.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Buy and the momentum could come in. What's your sense, Raja?
Yeah, right now at the levels of around 270, the stock is trying to revive. But the momentum indicators are still not suggesting a buy opportunity here. So I would like to wait till it crosses about 285, where there would be some bullish development, and then only I will be initiating along.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on ITC. Let's start with the charts from our analyst. N.S. Vidai has the first chart. The first chart is on Nestle this time around. Let's pull up the chart. N.S., if you can explain what this chart is. Yeah, so it's a cup and handle formation. It means that it's a bullish call, right?
Yeah, usually I love this kind of formations, cup and handles basically. Because if you see, it's been a long time since the stock has not been able to clear this area of 11,700. So, and it has got resisted twice, and third time just here, and after that gave a false break move here. And now it is consolidating very near to that breakout area. Now if you see earlier, whenever it came to this area, it fell very sharply. In this case, instead of falling, it is consolidating.
Okay.
That is the best part. That's where I turn out to be I believe there is more bullishness here. The bulls are keeping the momentum with themselves. They are not allowing the price to go down deeply. And the moment the stock crosses above 11,800, there will be huge momentum, and I have given a call on very long-term positional basis. It could be you can say 6 to 12 months, and our targets are something like 13,500 to 14. You can say 400 on the higher side. That's quite a huge up move possible.
So what's the strategy one has to follow? It's at 11,600
You can
right
buy
now.
at this level also, and you can.
Till what level will you accumulate? Because since this is a positional
you can
call.
accumulate up to 10,800.
Up to 10,800.
And on the up, you can keep a stop loss just 100 rupees below that at 10,700.
Okay.
On the upside, moment it crosses 11,800, like it will gain momentum.
And you believe this time around the resistance will be broken on the higher side?
Hopefully, yeah, because the way it is holding out, this is a flag pattern that's happening here. So flags are mostly like, after such a huge move, stock is consolidating, and though markets are so volatile, it's holding out in this area. That means like, the bulls are controlling the whole momentum here. They are not allowing the price to go down as much, though there was so much volatility in the market.
Are you seeing volumes pick up over the last few days?
Seriously, volumes in this stock are not so much. Like, you can't check volumes on this stock easily, because there is low float over there.
Okay.
So that's the reason. Like, we don't, like many times we don't look at volumes for that reason also. But otherwise, if you see the momentum, the stock has rallied very sharply from this area. Holding out in this area. Earlier, whenever you check, like, here also are the previous levels also, where it came to that 11,700 area. There was a steep crack over there. This time it is like holding. That is the best part about it.
Okay, so buy up to 10,800, 10,700 is the strict stop loss on this one. Raja, what's your sense on Nestle? What would you agree with him, or you have a different view?
Yeah, I agree with him. Yes, the formation is definitely positive, and after strong consolidation even on the weekly charts, the charts are exhibiting strong bullishness in this current market scenario, and the levels of around 11,600 is a very, very good opportunity for one to initiate a buy, and also on declines towards 11,100 to 200 is a good zone, whereas nice cluster supports are available. Plus the momentum is also there, so it's a good play with a possibility to reach towards 12,100.
Okay, Nilesh, welcome to the show. What's your sense on Nestle? What are your charts indicating?
Well, the chart structure is quite a bit of a positive. It has provided double bottom breakout from the levels of 11,300. So I would suggest, if at all it dips towards the levels of 11,300 or maybe 11,200, so that is the ideal level to go long, and with a stop loss of 10,500 odd. On the upside, the immediate resistance, like already mentioned, it has formed a triple top sort of a pattern. So once it breaks above 11,700, 800, then we will see further momentum to continue towards the levels of 12,500 or 13,000. So buy on dip should be the ideal best strategy for this particular counter.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. I think the consensus view that's coming in from all three guests is buy on declines. Obviously 11,700 seems to be the level of resistance that needs to be watched. If that is taken out, the momentum could be much faster on the upper side. The next chart we want to talk about, and that's from Raja, and it's on SRF. Now remember, when the market is cracking, SRF is now above the 3,000 level. It had problems of its own when it did manage to correct, but it's one way all the way for SRF, now just below the 3,000 level. Why are you bullish?
So after a phase of consolidation in the earlier part of towards the end of last year, the stock has been steadily moving up. So looking at the trend momentum which you're seeing here, it has been steadily making higher lows, which is a clear indication that at every decline there has been a bullish possibility, and people are buying into the dips. So, and now, even right now, even the month of May, you can see here the strong rise which we have seen here clearly indicates that there is a bullish momentum here, and the bullish flag breakout which we are witnessing clearly indicates that this stock is set for some higher ground. So one could look to buy at current levels, use even declines towards 2960, 2950 as an opportunity, and place a stop loss below 2930 for an upside towards 3125 and even 3200, because it's strong momentum. And aiding the price is the momentum indicator here, which I've used is the ADX DMI. And you can see here I am using the ADX DMI, and the plus DMI is quite resolute and it's maintaining its state at the higher levels, so which is a clear indication that bulls are definitely in this counter. Okay,
what's the time frame for your target? How soon do you see that coming in?
Within the next 7 to 10 trading sessions.
Okay, so it's a more like a short-term target. But what's the view on the long-term prospect? If someone wants to take a position here, can he look at this trade more like a short, long-term trade also? Do you see levels of 3,500, 3,700 coming?
On higher levels, it is 3,500.
Okay, 3,500. Okay, thanks so much for that, Raja. Nilesh, do you like SRF?
Yes, definitely. In fact, if you look at the daily structure, this is a weekly chart. If you look at the daily structure, it has provided a breakout from a symmetrical triangle pattern. So once if we look at the overall trend from last 6 to 8 months, the trend is very much positive. It is making higher high and higher low formation. In fact, we did recommend to our client as a part of disclaimer, as a buy recommendation. I'm expecting upside target of 3,200 on immediate basis, maybe 8 to 10 trading session. Whereas the strict stop loss should be placed around 2950. So that should be the ideal stop loss, and I'm very much positive towards 3,200.
Okay, that's the view. Ines, what's your sense on the counter?
Yeah, it's absolutely bullish. The stock has actually given a major breakout around 2400 approximately, when it gave a crossover about 2450, 2480. And since then, the stock has been in momentum, and it is one of the brightest spot on the markets, you can say. It seems like, extreme short-term targets are around 3400 at the moment.
Okay, so I think it's another consensus call that's coming in, bullish view coming in on SRF. The next chart is from Nilesh this time around. Nilesh, if we can have you. The chart is on VIP Industries. Let's pull up the chart. It's a bullish call, I'm assuming.
Yes, right. So if you look at the overall structure, it was making higher and higher low formation. Then we saw it is still making higher, and on the other hand, it was making lower highs. So this structures is called as a symmetrical triangle pattern, which is formed on a weekly basis. And if you look at the MACD structure, it has provided buy crossover from the lower levels, from the oversold territory. So that clearly indicates the stock is on the verge of a fresh breakout, and breakout is quite a see. Here you can see.
You can come here and explain. Yeah.
See, this is a breakout level. When the short-term moving average crosses the long-term moving average, that is considered as a crossover. And here the volume is picking up. Plus, the other advantage out here is that it is reversing from the oversold territory. So that clearly indicates the stock is on the verge of a fresh breakout with a big momentum. If you just pull out the chart, the breakout is clearly visible on the chart. The fresh breakout has occurred in yesterday's trading session. Today, we are also witnessing some sort of a positive momentum. The upside target, immediate target that I'm expecting is of 501. That is because this immediate high, that high, if takes out, that is placed around 501 level, then the next target would come around 530. So stop loss should be placed somewhere close to 452 for the upside target of 501. Then second target would be 530.
So this is more like a short-term trade that
yes, exactly. The trading range would be like 8 to 10 trading sessions.
What's the stop loss that you said?
Stop loss should be placed around 452.
452. So should they buy at this level, or should they wait for a little bit of cooling off?
This is a perfect level to immediate fresh long position. Whereas if you look at this, should be the ideal stop loss. One should place, strict stop loss should be placed. One can go for investing purpose as well. The upside, the third largest target that I'm expecting is of 600 level. So this target that I'm expecting. Once it breaks above 530, the next target would be 600.
And how soon do you see 600 levels?
That may take around 2 to 3 months sort of time horizon.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Nilesh. Ines, are you as bullish on VIP Industries?
No, right now I'm not bullish. I would prefer to see it cross 500 rupees first. If it does that, then fine. Otherwise, the stock is actually a very sluggish, in the very sluggish mode right now. Would prefer to buy around 415, 410 and keep a stop loss below 400. On the higher side, I would prefer it to cross 500. So if it crosses 500, then it shows momentum. Right now, it is in a very sluggish, momentum. So avoidable right now at the moment.
Okay, Raja, what's your sense?
Yeah, I would be in line with NS. The reason being that on higher time frame charts, the kind of candle formation which I am witnessing is not very encouraging at the moment. Yes, the momentum indicators are suggesting that there is a recovery possible, but it needs to move above 480. Then only we will be able to see some fresh momentum on the buying side coming in. Else, it would be a avoid from my side.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. I think Nilesh is rather bullish on it, but the other guests do believe that it needs to break up a bit of momentum before it actually becomes a buy. Let's begin with the second round. The chart NS has this time around is a buy on JSW Steel. Metals as a pack is doing well. You've seen how global commodity prices have played out. Surprisingly, Goldman Sachs today has come out with a note. They're bullish on Tata Steel, but they did manage to downgrade JSW Steel. But the trend certainly seems to be after a strong start, JSW has now moved into the red. What's your logic of buying this stock?
Basically, if you see this, there are double bottoms that it has formed here, exactly around this area. That's how marked it with an arrow. Okay, and if you see this, it's a falling wedge kind of pattern, where RSI, if you see, RSI is actually gaining strength instead of losing strength. So that looks like, the stock is actually bottomed out. This doji formation also suggests almost like the fall is now, you can say stopped. It will not go much below that, so we can keep a tight stop loss below these areas. And what I believe is we can keep a stop loss just around 253, and you can buy up to 256 on the downside. On the upside, moment it crosses about 270, there will be a strong momentum above that. So right now it's in accumulation zone. between 260 and 253 you can add here. So at this moment also you can add up to 256 and keep a tight stop loss below 253.
253.
Yeah, because see, RSI has actually started giving an indication like, the stock is not going to go down. It is probably on the upside only. The upside is
just pull up the chart.
Yeah, please,
just one quick query on it.
Yeah.
Wait, it'll come.
And I think
the query is that it's consolidating, and
Yeah.
what are you seeing here that gives you an indication that
first is
the
double
rise will happen?
Yes, first is the double bottom.
Okay.
That's what we just saw. Second is this, this trend line support, which is triangular, like, triangle that is being formed, and it is not broken below that on closing basis. And it broke. This can become you can say a false breakdown. So usually whenever the stock wants to give a major momentum move, usually this kind of patterns are very much visible. I usually call them as a signature moves of people who control the moves. So the bulls will try to take it up from here. Only thing is, if you want if you don't want to get into this patient play here, rather you can buy on breakout about 270 and you can expect a target of around 300 and 314, because see, this is where this triangle target comes to this exactly from the breakout point. It's 30 rupees, so that is also 300, which is also coinciding with this top. And there is a multiple resistance around at 314. So we can expect that if there is more momentum over there, it will go up to 314.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Dinesh. What's your sense, Raja, on JSW Steel?
Yeah, JSW Steel, I beg to differ on this point, because from my perception, it is actually breaking current levels around the 260 zone, and it's actually a sell opportunity here, and I would be recommending a sell here as a short-term trade, of course, with a stop loss about 271 for a drop towards 230, because the momentum indicators are definitely indicating that there is some set of weakness which is emerging here, and if the markets are not going to support, the prices are not going to rebound from here. So it will actually be a contra sell opportunity which I would recommend.
Okay, Nilesh, what's your sense on this?
Well, no doubt it has formed double bottom sort of a pattern, but still we need some sort of a confirmation. It is making lower high and low formation from last almost 8 to 10 trading session. It is weakening, so we need some more confirmation. If it breaks about 272 levels, then there could be a opportunity to go fresh long position with a stop loss below the levels where it has formed a double bottom sort of a formation. Till then, I would say it is better to avoid to initiate a long position.
Okay, so not the consensus call that's coming in from the counter on JSW Steel, but it's NS call, and he believes that it's a buy on decline type of stock. The next chart is pretty much will be the chart of the day. India Bulls Housing Finance. At one point of time, it was down 15%. There is enough selling across the board on India Bulls stock. What's the sense? It's at 546. What's your sense?
Yeah, the trade has it began well at the start of the day, and then now it has capitulated. You can see here it was moving in some kind of a volatile scenario, and for capturing the volatility, I've used a volatility measure called as Bollinger Band, and this clearly indicated that the prices were tagging at the lower end of the band. And to aid my price reading, I had also taken the help of MACD indicator, and MACD indicator was suggesting that the selling pressure had already set in, and they were already below zero, which indicates sell signal here. So the overall combination of the price and the momentum prompted me to initiate this as a sell trade. Yes, it has dipped down quite a bit. It has so any rally towards the region of around 600 or 610 can be taken as a rally sell opportunity here, and it could now, considering the way the momentum is flowing, you can actually see it even hitting 450.
Oh, 450. That's the view. How soon do you see that happening?
It will take around at least two weeks.
Do you see any kind of pullback that would come in? It's fallen significantly.
It has fallen significantly. So you have to use every rally to sell this. So a rally towards around 580 to 600 could be a rally sell opportunity, because the rally will be sharp, but then there will be a selling pressure emerging, because the momentum is still on the weaker side.
Okay, thanks so much, Raja. NS, what's your sense on India Bulls? It's fallen. What should one do at this point?
The stock has broken very strongly, but today's low 500 is supposed to be like the area where there is some strong support right now. One can expect to trade here for extreme short-term gain up to 600 or 620. But the stock faces very strong resistance around 674 and 715. So overall, the stock will remain under pressure. one can buy this with today's low and maybe 5 rupees below that as a stop loss. If it goes below 500 and 495, then one can initiate a short also on that.
Okay, Nilesh, what's your sense on India Bulls?
Like you mentioned, it has fallen so much, so there could be possibility of a pullback rally. So wait for the pullback rally, then one can initiate a fresh short position at a higher level, maybe in the range of 700 or 710. Then one can initiate a fresh short position. I'm expecting it to break on the lower side from the levels of 600. The target that I'm expecting is of 550. So it is definitely sell on rise kind of a counter.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. Sell on rally is the call that's coming in on India Bulls Housing Finance. The last chart, at least from analysts before Yash comes back, is on Bharat Electronics, and that is Nilesh's call, and he has the buy recommendation. Why are you bullish on Bharat Electronics?
See, first of all, if you look at the overall structure, the volume is not highlighted out here, but I'll share.
This is the volume.
So, okay, so these are volume. If you look at, this was a consolidation earlier, then there was a huge amount of volume. Then the rally has started, the volume did not pick up. Then we saw a further fall. Now here, if you look at, it has formed a base, sort of a base. It is consolidating in the range where, look at the volume activity. The huge amount of volume is piling up. So that clearly indicates there is some sort of a momentum is likely to continue. Also to add, it has provided fresh breakout from its 50-day moving average. So look at the importance of 50-day moving averages. It has been traded over above this. Then from here, we saw breakdown below 50-day moving average. Then look at the crash we have witnessed. Now it has further provided breakout above this 50-day moving average. Also, these are weekly charts. So this is sort of a positional sort of a counter where it has provided weekly closing above this consolidation. So it is well. What I'm expecting is there could be possibility of a fresh momentum since the base building has already been seen. So on the high side, the target that I'm expecting is of 121 to 135, whereas one can keep a stop loss below 95. And this more towards, we can say that 15 to 20 days kind of a trade.
Okay, so you said the target was 1?
The first target is 121.
Okay.
The second target that I'm expecting above 121 is 135.
Okay.
Also, just to add, the MACD crossover, if you look at, it has surpasses the zero line with a buy crossover. So that clearly indicates there is some sort of a momentum is building up, which will add some sort of a positive momentum for the stocks.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Nilesh. NS, Bharat Electronics, what's your sense?
Yeah, I would like to buy this stock on dips rather than buy here, and around 103, 101, and keep a tight stop loss below 99. On the upside, the stock faces some resistance around 118 to 125. So that is the zone that is acting as a very strong resistance, because that's the area where it gave a very big fall earlier, somewhere in 2018. And that's the reason the stock is unable to cross over that area so easily. But overall the structure looks good, needs some kind of more consolidation in this area. So buying on dips around 100, 103 could be good strategy, and keeping a stop loss below 99. On the upside, it needs to cross 120 as 125. If it does that, then the stock has a potential to go all the way 50% higher upside.
Okay, Raja, what's your sense?
Yeah, the momentum is definitely positive, but then it either you need to buy it on a pullback or it has to move above 113. That's when you'll get a clear flag breakout even on the weekly charts, and that could set the pace more going on this counter.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the last stock, and that is Bharat Electronics. And before we end the show, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay. He has a chart on Wipro this time around. Been one of the best performing stocks, at least for the Nifty. But is it a buy or a sell call?
It's actually a sell call. The confirmation is yet to come because the trend line is within, the stock price is within 1% of the trend line. You mentioned that the stock has been a rank outperformer over the last 1 year on the Nifty, but at the levels of close to 300, it has been facing a stiff resistance. In fact, over the last 3 trading sessions, the stock has been on a downtrend. If you take a look, it's the third day of losses, and today as well, in today's day of trade, the stock is down close to 1.5–2%, with volumes too being substantially higher than this 30-day average. What's key to note over here is the fact that the green line, which is the trend line, that is at the mark of about 293. Now the stock trades at 294, and as the condition stands, it has to close below 293 for it to flip its color from green to red. And should that happen, as we've seen historically over the last 1 year period, it would mean mean that the selling would increase further, and we could see levels far lower from currently.
What's the efficacy ratio of this?
So 4 out of the last 6 times that the trender has flipped its color, the stock has went down close to 6.5% over the next 1 month period.
Okay, thanks so much for that. 294, it's a conditional trade in S, below 293 on a closing basis.
Yeah,
What's your
extreme short term, when you're looking at trading for, swing maybe, yes, Yash could be right on that. You can expect a target of around 278. But I would not like to go short here because tomorrow, it's being an event actually. It's going X, this thing buyback today itself. So, I would prefer to buy it on dips probably at around 278 and keep a stop loss around 274 maybe. That could be good enough.
Okay, Raja, what's your sense?
Yeah, I would agree with the chart presented because Wipro is developing on a higher time frame a bearish engulfing. So a dips towards 275 would be in line with what NS is saying as a good opportunity buy. So it's a short-term sell trade, but on a longer term, it's a buy opportunity at lower level.
Okay, Nilesh?
Yes, Yash has rightly mentioned. See, the stock has a tendency after rally, it consolidates or retraces. So this time also, we have already witnessed the rally. Now the stock is consolidating. The consolidation may continue, or some sort of a profit booking at higher level may continue. On a downside, I'm expecting the levels of 285, whereas it has a major support levels around 275. So till these levels are not broken out, we cannot say it's purely on a sell side. On the short-term basis, yes, there could be some sort of a selling pressure accentuate, whereas on the longer time period, there may be a buying opportunity from the lower levels as well.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the final stock of Wipro, and with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank all my guests for coming in today. NS, Raja, Nilesh, thank you so much for coming in today with this and helping our viewers with the right stock picks. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.